I'm Spencer Couch, and this is Financial Pop episode 17. Now, John Hodgman from the Judge John Hodgman podcast and from the I'm a PC and I'm a Mac commercial and the Daily Show, he's been on a variety of things. He has a saying about nostalgia. He says, nostalgia is the most toxic impulse. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about nostalgia today and what it means and what we can learn from it and how it can be toxic. So the reason I've been thinking about nostalgia lately is I went to a Jazz game last night. I live in Salt Lake City. My friend Tyler had an extra ticket to the game, and it was a late game, so he couldn't necessarily take his kids. So we decided to go together. We got to go experience the Jazz game last night, and the reason this made me think of nostalgia, yeah, I've been to Jazz games, through the years from when I was a kid. I've been to many a game, but that wasn't the nostalgic aspect to it. Last night, the New York Knicks were in town. Why is this important? Well, the New York Knicks head coach is Jeff Hornacek, who was a key member of the Jazz during the late 90s when they were making runs to the NBA Finals. So this was the one time this year that the Knicks were in town, so they decided, let's do a reunion of the 1997 Jazz team that made it to the NBA Finals. First time the Jazz won a Western Conference championship. Now, of course, everyone's happy. The Jazz were losing at the time, but at halftime, but everyone's happy to be there. It's excited to see all the players return. We've got Brian Russell, we've got Jeff Hornacek there, we've got Howard Isley, we've got all kinds of people we'd forgotten about. Now, Karl Malone didn't make it. He did a video that was played. But of course, as you can expect, especially with Karl Malone not being there, the person who got the biggest cheer was John Stockton. Here's a quick clip of that. Okay, now what does this all mean? Who cares? I was reliving the end of my high school career and the time that the Jazz made it to the finals, a night that I was getting ready to graduate, and I remember John Stockton making the shot, and my brother calling me to tell me all about it. How I know that nostalgia can be a toxic impulse, if you will, is one of the people who got a lot of cheers was someone we didn't necessarily expect. So as this person was walking out, and as we saw on the video boards who they were going to be introducing, my friend Tyler turned to me and said, is he going to be booed or is he going to be cheered? Now that person is Greg Ostertag. If you're a Jazz fan, if you're not a Jazz fan, you may not even know who Greg Ostertag is. If you are a Jazz fan, you know that he is universally or nearly so reviled by Jazz fans as one of the biggest mistakes in drafting the Jazz ever made. He was drafted out of Kansas in the first round in about 1995, and we had high expectations for him. He disappointed us all along the way. He happened to be the starting center on a team that was made up of great players. John Stockton, Jeff Hornacek as the guards, Brian Russell and Karl Malone as the forwards, and Greg Ostertag happened to be our best center option. Had the Jazz had a better center option, it's entirely likely the Jazz would have won at least one, if not two championships in 97 and 98. Now, that being said, Greg Ostertag was cheered last night as people remembered the good times of the Jazz when they were dominating the West. When they were the only team that realistically could beat them was the Bulls, led by Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. So nostalgia can be very powerful. Thinking back to those times makes you forget the bad times a lot. So let's take a quick look here at Dwight from The Office and what he says about nostalgia.
People underestimate the power of nostalgia. If baseball can use it to get people to care about that worthless sport, then I can use it to get my siblings to care about the farm. Nostalgia is truly one of the great human weaknesses, second only to the neck.
So Dwight calls nostalgia the second biggest human weakness, second only to the neck. I don't know that I'd go that far, but he's got a point, and so does John Hodgman. Nostalgia can be a toxic thing. It can be a weakness to us. Currently, my family and I, we have our ups and downs. We have our good times. We have our bad times. We're going through some growing pains. We had a baby about a year ago. We're making some adjustments, trying to figure out where everything fits, where everyone lands, and things like that. And it's not uncommon for us to think back to a few years ago, prior to the baby. Now, obviously, I'm not saying anything negative about the baby. We love him. We wouldn't trade him for anything. We are so glad he's an addition to our family. But a couple years ago, when we only had 2 kids and they were both able to take care of themselves to some extent, life was a lot easier. We had what we refer to as our magical year. We had very few stresses. We had very few problems. It was a perfect year where we got to take June to Disneyland for the first time, and over a short period of time we got to go back a few times, and we got to go on a bunch of wonderful trips. We got to go here, go there. We were enjoying life to its fullest. Now, when we think back on that, we're only remembering the good times. We're not remembering the struggles that we had, the problems that we had, the fights that may have occurred. We're not remembering how much our kids drove us nuts when we were driving places or whatever. We only think of the taking a picture on Main Street at Disneyland when the park is closed and we're some of the last people in the park. Just an empty park behind us with the castle in the background. We're not thinking of the fight that it took to get there or whatever. Nostalgia can be a poison to us in that way. It makes it so that we live in the past. We only remember the good things. We don't remember the bad. And so the past seems like a great place to live. What we need to do is we need to live in the present. So I listen to another podcast, the Nerdist podcast, and they end every podcast saying, enjoy your burrito. What they mean by that is live in the present. Enjoy what you're doing now. Don't worry too much about the past. You can worry some about the future, but really live in the moment. And that's what we should do. Don't be stuck in the past. Do some planning for the future, but don't live too far in the future. Enjoy your here and now. That's my challenge to you. Enjoy your burrito. Live in the here and now. Don't be too nostalgic. Don't be overly nostalgic, and don't let nostalgia manipulate your feelings. And I look forward to talking to you soon, and I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks.